Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world, one book at a time. Have you ever wondered why it feels so difficult to go against the grain, even when you have that nagging feeling that you might just be right? Well, today we're going to dive into Christopher Hitchens' Letters to a Young Contrarian. And look, this isn't a self-help book on how to win arguments. Think of it more as a blueprint for understanding this powerful, often invisible system that we're all a part of, the system of social consensus. Hitchens shows us why challenging that consensus isn't just some act of rebellion. It's actually essential for the health of any group or even a whole society.
So, that brings up a huge question. Why do systems push back so hard when they're questioned? This question is really at the core of Hitchens' whole idea. He argues that this resistance isn't really about any one person's weakness or fear. Nope. It's a built-in feature of our social structures. The book really peels back the curtain on these subtle but incredibly powerful forces that reward fitting in and penalize anyone who dares to step out of line.
Hitchens gives this a name, the system of consensus. And what's so fascinating is that it's not some grand conspiracy with people pulling strings in a dark room. It's actually driven by something deeply, deeply human, our need to belong, our need for reassurance. We are fundamentally wired to find safety in numbers, and that very instinct is the fuel that keeps this whole system humming along. Okay, so if consensus is the default setting, what stops everything from just stagnating? Well, this is where the contrarian comes in. And Hitchens' big point is that the contrarian isn't just a difficult personality type, they are a vital component of the system itself. They provide the friction, the necessary pushback that challenges authority before it goes unchecked and ultimately keeps the whole system honest and able to evolve. So what you end up with is this constant, fundamental tension. On one side, you've got this incredibly strong pull toward conformity, right? The comfort of allegiance, the safety of being in the group. But on the other side, you have what Hitchens brilliantly calls an ineradicable instinct to see beyond, the urge to question dogma. And the actual health of a society, he says, really just hangs in the dynamic balance between these two opposing forces.
And here's where things get especially tricky in our modern world. Hitchens points out that creating consensus has become a very sophisticated art form. When he says public opinion is ventriloquized, it's such a perfect image. It's like a puppet, right? It's being made to speak with a voice that isn't really its own, a voice shaped by powerful interests that want to project this image of unity, whether that unity is even real or not.
So, all of this brings us to a really crucial point. In a system that is so heavily tilted towards agreement, what is the real function of criticism? Is it just disruptive noise, or is it serving a purpose that's absolutely vital to the whole thing? To answer that, Hitchens gives us what might be the single most powerful metaphor in the entire book. He says criticism exists so that we will shake off the chain and cull the living flower. So what on earth does that beautiful phrase actually mean? Well, let's break it down. The chain is the oppressive system, the dogma, the injustice, whatever is holding us back. The imaginary flowers are the pretty lies, the comforting stories we tell ourselves to make wearing that chain more bearable. So the contrarian's job isn't to just leave us all staring at a cold, ugly chain. The job is to strip away the illusion so we can finally see the chain for what it is, which gives us the chance to actually break it and grow something real and alive in its place. But, and this is a big but, this is not a call for just mindless rebellion. The key, the absolute key, is how you dissent. Hitchens argues for this very specific, powerful combination, a fierce, maximum impatience with injustice, but balanced with a deep, maximum skepticism of all claims, especially your own. It's all about being thoughtful and informed, not just shouting into the wind. So when you put it all together, what Hitchens helps us see is that dissent isn't just a personality type or some role that people perform. It's a fundamental process within any healthy dynamic system. And once you see it that way, everything changes. All of a sudden, dissent stops looking like disruptive noise and starts looking like what it is, a vital feedback loop. It's an essential mechanism for the long-term health and integrity of the very systems we all depend on. This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.